Hey everybody, Coach Dan here, co-founder and head coach of Running Company and heartbreak.run, here celebrating our 2025 Boston training kickoff. So let's talk about this Boston Marathon. This is a world-class sporting event. This is the 129th running. We have upwards of 30,000 runners participating in this event. We have our own single name legends, some born here, some made here, others even broken here. But when I think about most memorable races and the names attached, I think about Joni, I think about Bobby, Johnny, I think about Rick and Dick, I think about Yuki, Dez, Catherine the Great, Lilisa. You can picture the weather on those days. You can see the arms raised in triumph. And whether you're like our heroes there at the front of the pack chasing the win, or among the rest of us who have no chance of winning, but every opportunity to show what we're made of. The Boston Marathon will challenge you. It will make you question everything. It will also be deeply meaningful and probably one of the most rewarding experiences of your life. I'm here as your coach to just provide some guidance and make this transition from January to race day on April 21st as seamless, as powerful, as transformative as it can be. My most favorite thing about training for the Boston Marathon or any marathon really is seeing an athletic body transform in just 4 to 5 months. Those of you who've never done this before, you're probably a little bit nervous, a little bit scared, wondering, why do you sign up for this? And those feelings are all reasonable, but channel those nerves into productivity, channel them into performance. That's going to be something you're going to hear me talk a lot about, is that nervous energy is still energy. I'm just here to help you find the place to direct it. So to that end, we have in-person sessions in Boston. Many, you can check those out in Boston and Chicago. I won't spend too much time on the in-person thing since this is a digital experience for you. You can find out about our in-person sessions at heartbreak.run/run with us, or head over to the blog, heartbreak.run/heartbeat. Heartbreak.run/heartbeat. Just go to heartbreak.run. That's our website. Click around. You'll find these things. As it relates to our marathon training, we have two plans that I'm servicing here, a beginner plan and an intermediate plan. My beginner plan is for beginners, or it's for people who've run 50 Boston marathons, 50 any marathons, 150 marathons, but want the most gentle long run trajectory. It's a complete plan. You'll be ready to rock on race day, but it's less aggressive in terms of how much mileage you're doing, how many workouts you're doing, and how the long runs are structured. The beginner plan peaks with 120 miler, and that is 3 weeks out from race day. It does include speed work, one week with one workout, the following week with two, alternating that way. The intermediate plan peaks with three 20+ mile runs, and between each of those, so if we're talking 1, 2, 3, between each of those, we have a recovery week. So that's 5 weeks of big mileage. So in order to get to that at the peak of the plan, we need to be ramping up much more quickly. So if you're an athlete who right at the beginning of this plan is saying, I can go out for 10 this weekend, no problem. That sounds great. And you've done a speed workout a few times in your history, maybe many times, the intermediate plan would be great for you. If you're not sure yet, then I would start with the beginner plan and see where we go. I'd always rather leave a little bit in the tank. So regardless of my plans, whatever plan you're following, I do want to just note a plan is just a spreadsheet, or a PDF in this case, that a guy sends you over the internet, and and that's it. You are a human being. You are an athlete. You have a body that requires your attention and your knowledge of it. We're going to discover more about ourselves as we go through this training process, and that is some of the magic of training. But keep in mind, the training plans are not prescriptions for success. They are just principles in action, just a way to figure out how to plan your week. Many of you may run on a different cadence of days, or you may enjoy spin or CrossFit or something else that you're working into your schedule. I'm not here to remove all of the things you love that have built you into a strong person. I'm here to just add the running and marathon training in an intelligent way around what is your life and your work and all of your responsibilities so that we can have a powerful, exceptional day come April 21st. All right, no matter which plan you're following, whether it is my plan, any plan, like I said, I believe there are four keys to success. They are consistency, variation, listening to your body, and your team. So let's just talk about those very quickly. First things first, consistency. Okay, so when it comes to being consistent, that is one of the keys every athlete needs. When it comes to everyday athletes like us training for the Boston Marathon, we have lives, presumably, that are going on around all of this training. We're not pros, so we have to work, take care of the kids, other responsibilities for work travel or anything that pulls us away from running is going to be there. Right now, we're heading into the holiday season, so there's extra meetings, holiday parties, all that stuff. As somebody who has signed up for the Boston Marathon, you need to protect your running. And as your running coach, I'm here to remind you to do that. So when those weeks start to stack up where you say, oh man, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to run this week. The plan says 4 to 6. I have 15 minutes maybe. That ain't going to happen in that time. So you might question, okay, is it worth getting my socks, sports bra, base layer, tights, underwear, loft layer, jacket, gloves, and hat all dirty for just 2 miles, for just 10 minutes of running? As your coach, I am here to say, absolutely, get out there and get those mini miles in, because if you do three 15, 10, 15, 20-minute runs in a week and you're way off your plan, but you got those in, those short runs are so much more powerful than days off in terms of scheduling. If you need a day off for rest reasons, that's okay. But if it's an inconvenience or you're worried about not getting in enough, I think it's really important to note the power of your marathon will be determined by what you did do. And if we can make sure that we get in those little bits so that when you get back on your proper schedule, you can really knock it out. That's so important. So keep that in mind. Be consistent. Protect those running days. Don't go week on, week off, that kind of thing. I'd rather you spread out and use your time, maximize your time spent efficiently, and just getting in something. Something, not nothing, is one of my personal workout philosophies. All right, number two, variation, variety. I'm sitting here with two of my inspirations. One, Michael Jordan. Two, John Benoit Samuelson. But when I think about sports, you can see those two things. I think about basketball. I think about everybody knows you need to be a very dynamic athlete in order to be a good basketball player, right? You need to block out. You need to be able to dribble. You need to be able to play defense. You need to be able to shoot outside. You need to be able to drive to the lane. You need to be able to shoot free throws. All of these things are always being practiced. And it's similar for marathon athletes and for running athletes. It's not simply just running. We need to be flexible so that we can express the maximum amount of power that we have in the most efficient way. We need to have a strong core for the same reasons. We can stay nice and tall and express our power and be efficient. We need to run fast so we can build leg speed, power, leg drive, all those things. We need to run easy so that we can recover from all these runs. Running is a little different than swimming or cycling. You need easy days, and mostly easy days is really the prescription. You need to run long. We need to build up the capillaries and the ability to understand how your body works and recovers and adapts to going long. We're training for the Boston Marathon, so long distance running is part of the game also, obviously. So all of those things, that toolkit for an athlete, speed, flexibility, core strength, stamina, it all matters. So keep that in mind. Some people will say to me in this phase of training, I don't like to do speed for the marathon. What is it? I've just never done it. It doesn't matter. And, I would just say to that, what foot race in the history of humankind was improved by being slower. I think it's not just about being fast, it's about working on speed and understanding how you recover in small bits, understanding your own response to challenge, and doing it in smaller, compressed moments than just working long all the time. So it's a balanced toolkit that we're working on, and variety is the key to that. Okay, number three, listen to your body. So listening to our body is incredibly important in order to finish this life dream of running, finishing the Boston Marathon. You need to start the race. In order to start the race, we need to be healthy. And when it gets to race weekend, you will hear me talk about how to approach that. But in training, where we are now, I always want you to be excited and wanting to do more. So when it comes to each day, we're not going to the well. We are staying contained, staying within ourselves, and just being smart about what we're putting out there. I had the opportunity to hear a 2024 Olympian chat about his training, and we were asking about what the hardest workout he'd ever done was, or the one he's most proud of. And his first comment before he told us was, Coach never lets us go all out in practice. And for me, that was like a big affirmation of exactly that principle is you don't go all out in practice. You go all out in the race. And we're leaving something in the tank so that when you need to muster everything, it's there. We can't keep checking on that. So we're building capacity, building capacity, building capacity. The marathon is a long form journey. It's a metaphor for long anything in life. So we have to keep that principle in mind. When it comes to injuries and that kind of thing, listening to your body. If your knee hurts or something hurts and it warms up in the run, it starts to feel better, doesn't hurt, but then the next morning you wake up and it's a little stiff, it's a little sore. That is a warning sign to go see somebody and understand why that's hurting. Sure, it could be that you've increased in your miles and you started marathon training and you're running more than ever. Great. That's one reason. It could be that there's some structural imbalance that you need worked on with a professional. So go see somebody and get that diagnosis. As with any medical issue, early intervention is the key to success. So just please keep that in mind and go see somebody right away when something feels that way. If you go running and something hurts and it starts to hurt more and more and more, that's a flashing red light to go see a professional so we can figure that out. There's lots of time in marathon training, and training takes many forms. You may hop on a Peloton for a week, might be like, just some bike training, might be some elliptical, some aqua jogging. We're going to continue training no matter what you're going through, and managing that load of running versus other cardio is always something we need to be flexible about. Is you don't know this about the pros, or maybe you do, but a lot of the pros, the training takes many forms. They might be they're not never going to announce that they spent a lot of time on a bike before they get to the Boston Marathon starting line, but many of them end up that way. There are all kinds of bumps in the road for all athletes. So don't be nervous. Go see a professional, and let's just adjust your work for that to handle that. All right, last one. Key to success is your team. So this is an individual sport, so team takes a lot of forms. You have hopefully you get out to some of the runs with us in the Boston area or in Chicago. Team in the context of marathon training is often you're not receiving the ball, you're not passing the ball, but you might be passing the kids off to somebody to give yourself many hours out on the road and then recover and refuel. And there are people who, in many of your cases, are donating to your cause. I coach about 2,000 athletes for Boston, 500 of which are nonprofit athletes, and those athletes are thinking about the organizations behind them. There's such a wide variety of causes that the marathon touches and empowers through funding in this race, and you'll have to lean on all of these different causes, people, your family, your parents, people who you're showing your strength to, people who believe in you. You're going to have to summon them all behind you and with you in those harder training moments, because they're going to be hard. They're going to happen, and you're just going to have to remember who's with you, who's behind you, and why you're doing this. What made you sign up in the first place? So those are your four keys to success. And I'm super excited for this Boston Marathon training season. Now I'm going to hop into just a quick overview of the training documents for those of you who maybe don't have them yet and are watching this. If you made it this far without having the training documents, hey, thanks for watching. If you still need them, head to heartbreak.run/Boston 2025. Heartbreak.run/Boston 2025. Sign up. We send out a whole bunch of emails. So let's just start sharing. I think I can do this. And then this. And share. Okay. So here we are. This is our Boston Marathon training document. We have two of our athletes from last year, photos by Ethan Byrne. Thank you, Ethan, for these magic moments you provided. We're kicking things off here, thinking about devotion. So the Boston Marathon for me, I think about devotion is a almost spiritual dedication. It's something that maybe doesn't make sense to anybody who's not in the tribe, but for us, we're these people who are hitting the miles. We're heading out, charging out in the dark, in the cold, in the snow, in the rain, to do this thing that we care so deeply about. And along the way, I think you'll find that word takes on a lot of meaning. It's not just devotion to self. It's not just devotion to the race. It's devotion to the collective spirit of all the people around us. And as marathoning and running has grown, the touch points around any marathon has really affected more people. And devotion, I think, is a word that I'll be channeling as I think about our training and our race weekend experience. So kicking things off there. Here's some just stories, celebration, a little kickoff and vibe there. I'm your coach, little bio there. We have Maria Hall, Olympian and World Championships competitor, one of the fiercest track athletes in American history, chiming in for some help with us. Here's an overview. This is a link here of our training in Boston and Chicago locally. You can click there to go sign up. These are some of our special events. This week alone, we have two events. We have Thursday, our Jog and Nog in Boston and Chicago, a Christmas event, and our first Firehouse. That is just our first long training run, but we make it a special experience in the Boston area since we're kicking things off on our foundational training loop, the Firehouse, and I'll talk about that week. But sign up for Heartbreak Open House. There'll be wear test elements with our friends from Nike who helps power up our training, and Wellness in Motion Boston will be there. Individual coaches will be there for brush ups and help you figure things out. Injury evaluations or body check-ins, that kind of thing will all be in service and in action for you. Our starting line bus run, where we head to the starting line of the Boston Marathon in Hopkinton. We bus you from Newton out there. We run the first half and then pick you up at the Wellesley Public Library and then head back to the store. So that's a 13-mile first half preview of the course. And then the week after, we do our double Firehouse, our longest long run experience. And these are runs that get 400 to 600 athletes. We have snacks and everything, post-run party. It's worth coming. So check out those events. These are some resources for you. So you can run with me in Nike Plus Run Club. You can run with using the digital services in our training portal also at heartbreak.run. We have a Yoga for Runners created by Rebecca Pacheco, world-renowned yoga instructor and author. She created the Runners World Yoga Center. She also happens to be my wife, so proud to have her in the family and providing high-level, no-frills yoga experience that's basically the only one I do these days. It's 40 minutes, it's tight, and it'll work on everything you need and no standing on your head or anything that's outside of our realm for runners. If you have questions about strides and warm-ups, that's a video that I pop there to explain how to warm up dynamically for a workout. And then we have those immersive treadmill videos that can make the treadmill or the elliptical or the bike a little bit more exciting. So you can find all that stuff at heartbreak.run. Some race day footwear and just running shoes generally. This is I get a lot of questions about running shoes, and for those of you who are training with a nonprofit or Heartbreaker team members, you get 10% off at Heartbreak all the time. For those of you joining the free program, you consider the other options or wait for sale or just bank on our high level service at MSRP. And in any case, when it comes to footwear, the right running shoe should fit. You should have a thumbnail's width of space between your toe and the front of the shoe. It should be amply roomy in the toe box, and it should sort of disappear underfoot when you're running. So, how we fit shoes at Heartbreak Hill Running Company is we take a video of you running outside in a soft and flexible shoe. We like to do that as a contrast to if some places watch you walk without shoes or put you in a machine. For us, it's incredibly important to see you running in the act of running in shoes. That's the experience. So we need to see that. And then it's a conversation. The conversation and the video equally inform that process. And once it fits well, and we want to just get you running on the sidewalk in a variety of shoes that match the conversation and the video. And whichever disappears underfoot, whichever you just feel like this works seamlessly with my body and feels the way you want to feel when you're running, that's the shoe. Don't overthink it. Don't listen to what works for somebody else. All the shoes we carry, all the shoes most premium running stores carry are good. That part of like bad shoes aren't part of the game anymore unless you have a bad running store buyer or something. But it's really about what disappears underfoot, and that is how I like to think about it. What just feels like it belongs right away. So go through that process, find the right running shoe. You can expect about 300 to 500 miles out of a running shoe, and if you know that if you're doing the math there, it might be 3 to 4 pairs for a Boston Marathon training cycle. You want to keep those shoes fresh. That is where your body meets the road, and we want to keep that space squishy and comfortable throughout. When it comes to race day, I do get a lot of questions about the Alpha Fly Next Percent 3 there or other carbon plate super foam racing shoes. Do they work? Do they work on all athletes? That shoe in particular, the Alpha Fly Next Percent 3, was tested across the spectrum of athletes. And they find that the performance benefits and percentages work across athletes from the back of the pack to the front. So if that shoe feels good to you and works on every other level, I think it's worth giving the race day shoes a nod if you're thinking about performance. If you're thinking about safety, comfort, and wanting the reliable training feeling that you developed, stick with some trainers on race day. There's no problem with that. But if you're wondering about the performance benefits and you're curious and you want to, I can say they work and they can be really powerful assets on race day for sure. Fueling on the run. So we work with Martin to provide snacks for you on the run. We use the drink mix, which is basically just a carbohydrate mix. They taste about the same as the gels, and it's just a carbohydrate delivery system. All of these things on our runs, we're using these products because you have to figure out what snack is going to work for you in training. One of the major differences between the marathon as a race and distances shorter than that, half and below, is you must fuel in order to complete it at your ability. There is no way around that. And we're fueling, you don't have to worry about this. We'll talk about this as we go, but my race day fueling strategy is gels at mile 5, 10, 14, 18, and 22. And that was for under 3 hour marathon. So you're looking at fueling every 35, 45 minutes. And we're doing that early in the race so that the energy stores don't drop out. We're just keeping them going so that you have the energy you need at the end. So we have to practice that. We have to know that we can eat and run. I think about these things as, none of them are particularly good. I'm not going to sit on the couch and pop one of these things. But I think about them as already digested food. I do the mental preparation and say, all right, I'm just going to bring this in. It's basically already digested. It's going to come in and do its job and keep me fueled and powered and ready to go. So figure that out. We only have 20 weeks of long runs to do it. And a lot of those runs are actually not even that long. So make sure that you're testing your fueling strategy. If you come to our runs, I got you covered with this product, and you can bring or buy any others that you want to test. All right, here's an overview of our services. Choosing a plan, I went through that already. This is a helpful guide about what the paces mean and what they should feel like. This is your long run progression. So just so you can see, By week 7, the beginners will have covered 12 miles, but that week you will only run 8 so that you can, rejuvenate yourself. The intermediate plan has 16A there. That's 16 with an assignment. We do a lot of work at the 16-mile distance because it's a good, hard, proper long run distance that requires fueling, and we can work on some long running skills at that distance without pushing too hard. But it's tough. And then in the beginner alt there, I'm just showing different ways you could do your long runs. If week 5 you can't get in 10, you could do an 8 miler one day and a 4 miler the next day. That would be an equally powerful way to do it. That's what those pluses are, is like maybe a combination of days. If you ran out of time or couldn't do it, the split that way keeps the long run under 20 the whole way through. So that's just an alternative as you're looking for tools to use to think through what will be your marathon training experience. Here is the meat of the plan. So those are actually links. If you want to sign up for those events, you can click on those little words with the arrows there. Each week, I just outline what I think is a good framework for training. You can see week 1 for the beginners, the Heartbreaker workout of the week. That is referenced in the workout bank, which is the final page of the beginner training plan. So I'll just scroll ahead there. You can see it's pretty simple. First day of training, easy 2 to 4 miles, 4 by strides, abs, or a day off if you ran on Sunday. So start you with a day off if you like. That's up to you. You can spend the day reading your plan, doing your homework, and getting out there. No matter how you're doing this, what I would want you to get out of this is, if you're going to keep Saturdays your long run day, try to get in one strong-ish effort, a speed workout of some kind during the week, and one or two, probably, 2 other easy runs. That's kind of the formula. This is just putting it in a calendar for you, but I don't really care how you do it or where you stick those days. It's really just about getting them in week after week after week after week. If you're a more advanced athlete and that sounds silly, what I just said sounds like it's not enough, great. You're right for yourself. And you can add bike days, you can add Peloton or spin class, whatever you like. But for the breadth and scope of these 2,000 athletes under our umbrella, there's a lot of communication that will go into each individual, or a lot of nuance for each individual. But what I want to communicate to the new people new to this marathoning thing is the principle is a long day a week, a harder work day a week, and that takes a lot of different forms, and then mostly easy cardio work, and that's it. So I'm gonna fast forward here to the workout bank. So week 1, when it says workout of the week, you can see the first one there is 10 times, 1 minute at 10K pace, followed by 90 seconds easy. And you can see in the description to the left there, it says how to warm up for that. So you would come to this workout bank understanding that you're going to execute what's over there to the left, which is 10 minutes of cardio to get warm and get loose in these colder temps. If you have a Peloton or you're at the gym, sometimes it's good to do that indoors even. Sometimes I'll warm up on the bike, do some abs and core, and then go outside for my run, feeling warm. Today that's probably how my workout's going to go. It's a cold day. So you want to do some cardio, depending on your ability, 10 to 20 minutes of easy running. Stop, do some active stretching, check out that review video of how to warm up, and maybe a couple strides if you like. And then you would get into 10 times, 1 minute at 10K pace, followed by 90 seconds easy. So that means you're going to do 1 minute at a strong pace. 10K pace is the pace at which you would race 6.2 miles. So it's strong, but it's not crazy. It's not a sprint, not even close. It's way slower than your mile pace. It's much more related to your marathon pace than your mile pace, I would even say. So it's strong, but you're contained. So I'd say you want to be able to maintain over 10 of them the same pace at a minimum, or build toward the end. So after that warm up, you'll go out there, you'll hit 1 minute at your 10K effort, whatever that is, and then 90 seconds immediately following at an easy effort. So you would slow way down, look like a turtle out there. You could walk if you need to in that 90 seconds, and then back up and repeat that 9 more times. That's how you would read that. So another example would be week 3, Tuesday, hills, 2 times 2 minutes up, 4 times 1 minute up, 6 times 40 seconds up, faster as time gets shorter, easy jog down recovery. 2 minute at 10K effort, 1 minute at 5K effort, 40 seconds at fast. So you would jog to the hill, warm up as your warm up, get loose. If you can find a hill that takes 2 minutes to go up, great. If it's only 1 minute to get up at a strong pace, that's okay. You can make those adjustments within the workout. You would do two of the long ones, 2 by 2 minutes. So you do 2 minutes strong up at a 10K effort roughly. Jog down as your recovery. Do another one. There's your two. Jog down as your recovery. Then the next two are shorter. Or sorry, the next four are 1 minute shorter. So you go 1 minute up, jog down. 1 minute up, jog down. Times four. And that's that. That's how to read those workouts. All right. So begin or intermediate plan, you can see your long run ramp up. The descriptions of those workouts are there. We'll talk more about that. And that's my final image there. That's me waiting for that is either before or after the sweep bus, but really close. I'll be right there at mile 20 of my shop waiting for you, but that is many weeks off as we are really just here getting ready to kick off our training. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. You can find out all the training tools you need at heartbreak.run. You can find me on Instagram at Coach Dan BOS, our airport code here in Boston, Coach Dan BOS. And thanks for training with us. If you need those training documents, you want to sign up for the weekly emails. Again, you get a Sunday email, a Friday email, training plans, invites to all kinds of stuff, sales when we have them. That's all can be found. All the registration for our Boston 25 training plan is at heartbreak.run/Boston 2025. Okay, everybody. Thank you for watching. That was a long one, but just wanted to cover a lot of ground here. It's week one. Let's go.